Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at GALA. This is going to be a higher time frame video. We will also be doing a lower time frame video, which can be found up above here. So check that out if that's more what you're interested in. Okay, so let's get into the charts and see what's going on. The most data that I could find was here on MEXC, and this is from June 2021. Now, there's a couple of ways we could argue that this move has taken place to the upside here. Now, we don't have all the structure here, so we need to just be aware that there is always a little bit of leeway within these counts for that. Now, what we could say here is that effectively within this count, we could treat this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, within that, this doesn't break any rules because this wave is still longer than the wave 1. So wave 3 is still not the shortest. Now, within this, what we could also argue is that this is just A, B, C. This is a B wave, and then this is a C wave. So this would just be A, B, and then C. So now there's a couple of ways of looking at it. Now, if we're in a trending move here, what we need to do is actually maintain the low that we have here. So this low is currently sitting here towards this zone of 0.0571 region, and as long as we hold that, we could potentially argue that we have a trending move here where we could be looking for this as an A wave, this is a B, and then looking for a C wave. Now the C wave 1-to-1 would actually be here at this $2.15, and what we can see here is that if I actually look up here, we have the 1618 sitting here at this 44. Now there's a big difference here between looking at this in the log scale and in the linear scale. If we have to throw this onto linear, we can see that the 1-to-1 is down here at the 79, and we do have this 1618 sitting here at this $1.27. So we're going to have to monitor how this structure develops here. If we do get a move up to this 1618, it might actually be that we can still actually see price develop as a 5-wave move here, even if it hasn't reached that 1618 target on the log scale, because at the end of the day, the structure is more important than the fib ratios. These are used to guide us when we're actually making our analysis, but at the end of the day, the structure is key to the count, not the fib ratios. Okay, so now we're going to discuss this B wave, because there's a couple of ways we can look at this. We can argue that this B wave could be completed, and we actually look to reverse to the upside from where we currently have this low in place at this 0.11551. If this is the case, what we'd be looking for here is then that we'd be treating this as a W, an X, a Y, an X, and then this as a Z wave to the downside. Now this also could just be an A wave. So because we've actually come down to this zone, this could always just be an A wave here. We see a 3-wave move back to the upside, and this is why I have this box highlighted here. So we're going to have to be cautious on our move to the upside. There are some areas of interest here. The 786 would be quite interesting as coming back into the higher end of this, as well as this golden pocket here sitting between this 1893 to this 1674 region. So because of the fact that, we have this bit of structure here, I would be very interested to see how we react around the middle of this box. Based off of that, I have projected this C wave target to the downside off of this 0.618 retracement up here at the 1674. And what this would actually look to do, if we did have a bigger corrective structure where this is an A, this is a B, and then we see a C wave to the downside, that 1-to-1 would actually look to take us below this origin point. Now, as well as that, we have some other targets here. So the 0.618, this is actually the minimum requirement that we'd be looking for, would actually be here at this 0.01405. Now, if we did see a move down to the 0.618, this would be enough for this move to be completed. Obviously, we'd have to have the move up first in this case. Now, if we start to break down directly, then we have some other counts which are probably going to be more likely to actually be taking part. Now, if we did see this move to the upside in 3 waves, failing to break above this 3186 level, we could actually be looking for this C wave down. Then we would expect a 5-wave move to the downside off of the back of this. We could also argue this is a W, so then we would be looking for a 3-wave move. We'll have to see exactly how this structure develops if this actually is the case. So some other ways that I'm looking at this is that potentially we could also argue that this is a W here, this is an X, and that we could actually be forming a flat correction here for this Y wave. So the 1-to-1 of this Y wave is actually lower down here at the 0.0424. Now the 0.618, which would be a minimum requirement, is over here at this 0.1251. Now the thing with this is that I would be expecting a push up first. If we do actually see this where this is actually an A wave, we have this as A, B, and C, and we get a push up towards this 0.1294. What we could actually see is that this could just be a B wave and a flat. So this would be A, this would be B, and if this takes this origin point here, this could be an irregular flat. Now, if we have an irregular flat, this can either be a running flat or an expanding flat. So what we would be expecting here, if this is a flat, is we'd be expecting the price to push back up here. Then we'd be expecting a 5-wave move to the downside. So this is why I'm looking out for that potential of a 5-wave structure here to develop to the downside. Now, 1-to-1 would actually bring us to this 1561, which would actually be a double bottom here. So this would be quite an interesting area to keep an eye on after we've pushed up here. Now, if we did see a move down towards this 1-to-1, that could technically complete this move. However, if we do take origin, you know, irregular flats, the expanding flat is actually more common than the running flat. So as a rule, I tend to look for these lower targets primarily and then just confirm it with the actual count. So we'd actually be looking for this 01087 to this 00605. Now this would actually look to bring us back down and would still look to actually protect these lows that we have over here. So the 854 would be interesting, as this would be bringing us into that 1.618. Then higher up here we have the 1382, which is sitting at the 00869, which is aligning up quite nicely with the 786 area here. And then obviously we've got the higher area here of this 1236 and this 0.618. So, you know, I'm going to be keeping an eye on these levels. If we do actually move down here, these could be some interesting zones to have a look at. Now, a slightly more controversial way of looking at it is because there's good relationship with these waves to each other to this 1618. So looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5 into this low. So this would be an expanding diagonal. So there's a little bit less confidence in this kind of thing because of the fact that it was being treated as a diagonal, you know, and it's an expanding one at that. It's less common than the contracting variation. Now, what I'm looking for here is that potentially what we could have actually had is a bigger corrective structure from further back here as a flat correction. Now, the time proportions are not great here between this A wave and this B wave, but they are still acceptable. So because of this, you know, I'm just still on the lookout that if we start to develop a bigger 5-wave move to the downside, what we could see is actually a move down towards this 0618 directly. So this would be a direct breakdown to this zone. We're looking for the 01092 and then this 1-to-1 sitting lower here at this 00370. Now, if we do see this push down in this way, what this could mean is we could actually take this low point, like we said, this red line, and then we also have some other target areas here, the 786 and the 854, which would still look to protect this. Now, if we are looking to break down in this way, what we'd be looking for effectively would be a 5-wave move. So what we'd be saying is from over here, we have this as a 1, 2, and then we're actually looking for this potentially as another 1, 2 here. So the 1618, which we'd be looking for, would actually be here at this 01500. Now, if we are looking at this breaking down though, we'd have to say that within here we have an additional 1, 2, which would mean that we're actually still within this yellow third wave. Now, if I overlay these two together, we can see that the orange 1.618 is actually higher than this yellow one. So this yellow one's going to be the most important one within this count. What I want to see here is if we do actually see a direct breakdown towards this 1618 level, what we could see is an additional 4th and a 5th, and then that would tie into this actually being 1, 2, all of this would become 3, we'd get a 4th wave back up, and then we'd see a 5th wave to the downside. Now that would look to potentially complete this as an ABC. So the 0.618, which would be that minimum, is up here at this 1092. So I would be keeping an eye on that level, though if this structure does break down in the way that I have it labeled here, effectively this would mean that we're potentially going to break down past these levels and probably hit closer towards the 786 or this 854 if that is going to be the case. So going back to this possibility of this being a completed move where this is W, X, Y, X, and Z. So now this is looking at the bullish standpoint where we've got a completed move here. So if we want to argue that we've got a completed move here, what we could actually see is price actually start to develop to the upside. Now this is viable for as long as we hold this zone of this 01551. And then we would be looking for two things. Now, if we are treating this in the corrective manner where we're saying that we're going to get this just as an ABC, what I'd be looking for would be this 07460. Now, the key thing here is that we've actually come down quite deep in relation to this as an A wave. So because we've come down quite deep, it's already stretching that idea of this being a wave 2. You know, we wouldn't really want to see it go any lower than it already has. So we have actually come all the way down here to this 0.854, which is sitting at the 01903. So really, you know, this is like the limit of where we want this to go as a B wave here, unless this is going to become some kind of a flat correction. Now, if we are looking at this in this way though, we're treating this as a zigzag. So this is looking for this as a zigzag to the upside, or potentially a wave 3. Now, as long as we hold this low and we start to move away, potentially we could be in the C wave. Technically speaking, we could even come down one more time here. As long as we don't lose this 01551, then we would be looking for that potential to reverse to the upside. Now, like I said, 121 is here at the 7460 region, and then we'd want to see this wave 3 higher point be higher up here towards the zone of the 017708. Now, if we did get a move up here to this 1.618, we would then be looking for an additional fourth and potentially a fifth wave, looking to bring us up into this 030 to this 021661 region. Now, what the key thing would be here is that if we do get this develop as a 5-wave move to the upside here, we would want to see how we retrace. If it's just a 3-wave move that looks to maintain this low and possibly even look to retest this level here, that would be quite an interesting zone. What we'd then be looking for is that continuation to the upside. So we're going to have to monitor this. You know, there is the bullish potential here, but we need to see price action reverse to the upside and really start going here, because if this is the case and we return around here, and if we are in a 3rd wave, we want to see nice strong volume coming in with the move as it actually starts to progress to the upside. Having a look at the Ichimoku cloud here on the weekly, what I'm being mindful of is that we can see that we are actually currently sitting below this line here. Now, if we are actually going to move to the upside here, we could actually see price start to get a rejection off this level if we do move up here. As well as that, we do have the conversion line sitting here at this 03893, so I would be mindful of any kind of a move up into this in 3 waves. If we did see this develop as A, B, and C, one potential target we could look for would actually be up here towards this cent 29. Now this would actually be coming back into the baseline here, as well as into these target areas here, and then if I throw on this count where we're looking for that flat idea, that would actually be looking to bring us up to this 1.236. Now, if I throw on the idea of this as a B wave, we can also see that the 50% is sitting in this area. If we do look to push up higher here, we do potentially have this 0.618 sitting on this line as well. And then obviously, depending on how long this takes, it could be towards this 50% as well. So we've got a couple of regions here to keep an eye out with on this Ichimoku. Now on the daily, what we can see is we've started to develop this cloud above us again. So any kind of a 3-wave structure into this cloud, I would be slightly cautious of, where we could actually see a rejection off of this and then that continuation to the downside. So just be mindful of that. We do have the conversion line sitting up here towards this 2504, which could actually tie in with a retest of the support zone, and if we reject off of that, we could actually look for that continuation down. Alternatively, if we do look to push to the upside here, this baseline is sitting towards this 3412, so I would also be mindful of that as potential rejection moving forward. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.